England, 1829. Smoke, soot, and fear of the unknown. In 1829, people believed traveling faster than 20 miles an hour could kill you. Then a yellow machine roared past them, belching steam, hissing fire, and rewriting physics in real time. That day, Britain didn't just build a train, it built the future. So let's find out what this is all about. In the early 1800s, Britain was bursting with energy. The Industrial Revolution was in full swing. Factories roared, chimneys smoked, and coal was king. But while the world inside workshops was racing forward, the world outside them was crawling. Transport was a nightmare. Horses dragged wagons through rutted roads. Canal boats drifted slowly, and even stagecoaches were at the mercy of mud and weather. Moving goods from Manchester to Liverpool could take half a day, longer if it rained, which in England meant always Britain's economy was booming, but its arteries were clogged. The nation had the power of an engine, trapped in the body of a horse. A faster way was needed, not just for freight, but for people. That's when one man's obsession with steam would ignite a revolution. His name was George Stephenson, a self-taught engineer from a poor mining village who believed steam could move not just machines, but nations. And in 1829, he and his son Robert would build a machine that proved him right. It was painted bright yellow, it hissed like a dragon, and it would become the first truly successful locomotive in history. The rocket. Before we roll into the race that changed history, hit subscribe for more stories of the machines that built our world. Now let's see how the rocket was born. The Rainhill Trials were Britain's first great engineering showdown, a public test to decide which steam engine would power the new Liverpool and Manchester Railway 5 contenders arrived that October. The heavy sans-pareil, the sleek but fragile Novelty, the ponderous Perseverance, and two others barely worthy of the name. And just when the crowd thought they'd seen it all, then came the rocket, smaller, lighter, and somehow confident. People laughed at its funnel and thin frame. But when the flag dropped, laughter turned into awe. Rocket wasn't just competing, it was flying. It hit 29 miles per hour, unheard of speed for the era. Spectators gasped as it thundered down the track, white steam trailing like a comet tail. By day's end, the verdict was clear. Rocket had won by a landslide. But more than that, it had proved steam travel was practical, fast, and safe. The Rainhill Trials became a symbol of progress, a moment when Britain realized its future would run on rails. George Stephenson was no aristocrat. He'd been a miner, a brakesman, and a mechanic who learned to read only in his late teens. But what he lacked in schooling, he made up for in relentless curiosity. His son Robert Stephenson brought the mathematics his father never learned. Together they formed one of history's greatest partnerships. Raw instinct and refined calculation, working in perfect rhythm. It was Robert who perfected the rocket's multi-tube boiler, a revolutionary leap. Instead of one large flue for heat, he used 25 small copper tubes, vastly increasing the surface area for boiling water. More heat meant more steam, and more steam meant power, enough to pull 20 tons with ease. The engine's blast pipe was another stroke of genius. It redirected exhaust steam up the chimney, creating a vacuum that pulled more air through the firebox, the same principle modern jet engines use for thrust. The result? Efficiency that left competitors choking in smoke. The rocket wasn't brute strength, it was elegant engineering. On October 8, 1829, crowds gathered along the Rainhill track to witness the trials. Newspapers called it a great mechanical experiment. Vendors sold pies and beer. Even members of Parliament came to watch. The other locomotives broke down one by one. Sans-pareil cracked a cylinder. Novelty leaked under pressure. Perseverance barely crawled forward. But Rocket ran lap after lap without faltering. It completed the 70-mile requirement in record time, hauling its train at nearly 30 miles per hour. People were astonished. Many had never seen motion that fast without a galloping horse. For the first time, humanity had built a machine faster than itself. The directors of the railway immediately chose the rocket as their official locomotive. That victory didn't just win George Stephenson a prize, it launched the railway age. What made Rocket extraordinary wasn't just speed, It was balanced light enough to spare fragile iron rails, yet strong enough to haul heavy loads. It hit the sweet spot engineers had been chasing for years. Its boiler design was decades ahead of its time, its angled cylinders delivered smoother motion, and its blast pipe created a self-feeding combustion loop that turned coal into disciplined fire. Every part had purpose, every improvement amplified the next. Stephenson didn't build a machine that simply worked, he built one that taught. Engineers worldwide took it apart, studied its secrets, and copied them relentlessly. Within 10 years, locomotives from London to Philadelphia echoed its design almost bolt for bolt. In modern terms, rocket was the Model T of steam. The moment invention became industry. It wasn't just a prototype, it was the blueprint of an empire. When the Liverpool and Manchester Railway opened in 1830, rocket's success unleashed a national obsession. For the first time, ordinary citizens could travel long distances at incredible speed. A journey that once took 6 hours by coach now took 2 by train. Newspapers called it the annihilation of distance. Freight boomed. Factories shipped goods to ports overnight. Farmers sold fresh produce in distant markets. And soon, new railway lines sprouted like veins across the countryside. By 1850, Britain had over 6,000 miles of track. By 1870, over 16,000, every major town had a station, and train time replaced local time entirely, a strange but necessary step toward national standardization. The rocket had done more than win a race. It had shrunk the country economically, socially, even psychologically. And when Queen Victoria took her first train ride in 1842, pulled by one of Stephenson's locomotives, rail travel officially became royal approved. Not everyone cheered the coming of the railways. Some farmers feared the noise would spook livestock. Doctors warned that traveling faster than 20 miles per hour might cause suffocation. And in one of history's cruel ironies, Britain's first railway opening also saw its first railway fatality. During the grand opening of the Liverpool and Manchester line, Member of Parliament, William Huskisson approached Stephenson's locomotive to greet the Duke of Wellington and misjudged his timing. Rocket struck him, crushing his leg. He died hours later, becoming the world's first railway casualty. It was a tragedy that reminded everyone how powerful this new force was, but rather than destroy the railway's reputation, it did the opposite. The public realized that trains weren't toys. They were serious, world-changing machines. The age of steam had teeth, and Britain, now addicted to progress, was willing to pay the price. After Rainhill, the Stephensons became living legends. George went on to design dozens of new railway lines, while his son Robert turned engineering into art, building masterpieces like the high-level bridge in Newcastle and the Britannia Bridge in Wales. Every major railway project of the 1830s and 1840s carried their fingerprints. Investors rushed in, driven by a fever the papers called railway mania. Fortunes were made, lost, and made again as lines stitched together every corner of Britain in iron thread. But beneath all the speculation and chaos lay one simple truth. The rocket had made it possible. By the mid-19th century, Britain's trains were carrying millions of passengers each year. They hauled coal, cotton, and steel, the lifeblood of the Industrial Revolution. London to Edinburgh, Birmingham to Bristol, Manchester to Glasgow, all pulsed with the rhythm of steel wheels and steam pistons. Britain had become the world's workshop, and its success quite literally ran on rails. Rails built in the image of one small yellow engine that had dared to lead the way. The original rocket served proudly on the Liverpool-Manchester Railway for several years before being retired. Yet even in rest, it refused to be forgotten. By the 1860s, it had become a museum piece, a relic from the dawn of modern transport. And when people finally saw it up close, they were astonished by how small it was. Barely 13 feet long, with a slender frame and delicate spoked wheels, it looked almost toy-like beside the iron giants that came after. Today, that same rocket still exists, lovingly preserved at the Science and Industry Museum in Manchester, and occasionally displayed at the National Railway Museum in York. Crowds still gather around it, lowering their voices instinctively as though they're standing in a cathedral, because in a way, they are. They're looking at the altar of the modern world, the machine that changed everything. In its simplicity lies something profoundly human. Proof that the greatest leaps in history often come from the humblest hands, the roughest workshops, and the boldest imaginations. A small yellow engine that once rattled across a short track and somehow managed to move the entire world. The rocket's story didn't end in 1829. Its influence still pulses through every high-speed train, every subway line, every rail network that ties our world together today. Before the railway, far meant impossible. After the rocket, distance became a matter of hours, not days. Commerce exploded, culture spread. Even the concept of leisure travel, holidays, tourism, weekends away was born from the timetable. George Stephenson passed away in 1848, but his legacy lived on through his son Robert and the countless engineers who followed in their tracks. His life proved that genius isn't born in lecture halls. It's forged in curiosity, trial, and dirty hands. He once said, "I was never so happy as when I was with my engine." Maybe that's the truest definition of progress, finding joy in the act of building something that moves the world forward. The rocket was never the biggest locomotive, nor the most beautiful, but it was the first to truly work, the spark that ignited Britain's railway revolution and reshaped the rhythm of civilization. So the next time you hear the deep rumble of a passing train, pause for a moment, because it all began with a miner's son, a copper boiler, and a small yellow engine that refused to slow down. From one small yellow engine came a nation transformed, proof that progress begins with those who dare to dream. If you enjoyed this look into Britain's greatest engineering breakthrough, make sure to subscribe for more forgotten machines that build our modern world. From steam and steel to diesel and dreamers, we'll keep uncovering the stories that shaped history. Tell us in the comments, which invention do you think changed Britain forever?